this is not my show today, but there are two. Well, there are two anniversaries that we're kind of celebrating today. One is the fact that the board has had what I will generously call a refreshment, which they voted, and you couldn't have made a better decision. They did it unanimously. It was a surprise to all the board when I announced it last year, except for Susie and Ali. That's been 100% successful. Greg is doing everything I did and then some, and he's doing it better in all cases, and he's the right person. So that decision, we score 100% on.
Thank you, man.
But there's another anniversary today that I'd like to spend just a minute telling you about, because about 10 years ago, we made a commitment to essentially move 10% of the resources of Berkshire Hathaway. We turned it over to a person who was not that well known at the time. And we did that by spending roughly $35 billion buying stock in Apple Corp. And we were going to have that under the management. We're turning that money over to the management, essentially, of Apple to make Berkshire look good, and without any work by us, which is our preferred way of operating. And I would like to report that 10 years later, several things are happening. One is the $35 billion, counting dividends, realized appreciation, unrealized appreciation. But that has turned into $185 billion. And I didn't have to do a damn thing. So it's, you know, we're very big around here on having other people do the work and collect the money. But that has been a success, and we do look at marketable securities as being businesses. That doesn't mean we hold all of them forever, but we still, our largest holding is Apple. And Apple has a very interesting history that some of you may be familiar with. But one item is they're observing an anniversary themselves. I think just within the last week or so, they celebrated their 50th anniversary, and 50 years seems like a long time, but Apple seems like a very new company. And when Tim Cook went into the top position at Apple, he succeeded a legend. Steve Jobs was, everybody in America knew his name. Not many people knew Tim's name. And Apple had this roller coaster experience where the two Steves had started in a garage or something 50 years earlier, and then I'm not not sure how many of you know, but Steve was thrown out for a while. He came back in. He did these marvelous things in terms of developing products. And then he had an untimely death. And everybody said, who's going to manage Apple when Steve Jobs isn't around? And probably just a very few percentage points of American investors had even heard of Tim Cook. And we, in effect, Tim took over about 14 years ago when Steve died. But when we made our investment and turned over 10% of the resources of Berkshire, we were turning it over to Tim. And as I say, he has turned that into 185 billion or something pre-tax, which we won't bother to compare to our record with. But Tim has announced that he's retiring as well. That's an announcement that's just been made in the last couple of years. And so I think it's appropriate if Tim would take a bow and our shareholders would say thanks to him. Step into the shoes of Steve and come through with his record. I mean, it's one of the miracles of American business management. And so, anyway, thank you, Tim, and I'm going to turn things back to Greg. And we'll
Thank you, Warren.